This video introduces the first two learning objectives. 1. Describe the general attitude of the public toward the police and the police toward the public. And 2. Summarize the steps in an effective police officer selection process. To do their jobs effectively, whether enforcing laws, maintaining order, providing services, or gathering information, police officers need the trust and cooperation of the public. How officers perform these duties, especially law enforcement and order maintenance, plays a major role in shaping public trust and respect. Professor Reese encourages you to read the crime story about former Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. It provides a powerful example of how complex and important this issue is. Over the past 25 years, the percentage of Americans who say they have a great deal, or quite a lot of confidence in the police has generally ranged from 52% to 64%. Overall, public confidence remains relatively high, as do ratings of police honesty, ethics, and general favorability. However, these views often vary depending on demographic factors. As shown in Table 7.1 of your textbook, major incidents involving police brutality have led to drops in public respect for law enforcement. For instance, the 1993 survey was conducted during the federal civil rights trial of 4 white officers charged in the 1991 beating of Rodney King. The 2015 poll coincided with a series of fatal police encounters involving unarmed black men in cities like Ferguson, Staten Island, and North Charleston. Demographics continue to influence public opinion. Across several tables in your text, Black Americans tend to be less approving of the police compared to white and Hispanic Americans. Table 7.5 offers further insights, showing that people's views of the police tend to become more favorable with higher age, income, and education levels. Meanwhile, many police officers report feeling disrespected by the public. Some express frustration and say they regularly face verbal abuse and a lack of appreciation for their work. Again, Professor Reese urges you to read this section closely, especially if you're considering a career in law enforcement. Understanding these dynamics is essential. Choosing the right people to serve as police officers is one of the most important responsibilities of a police administrator. These individuals may remain with an agency for 2 decades or more, so each hiring decision carries long-term consequences. A department's ability to serve the community effectively depends heavily on the quality of its personnel. For that reason, police departments typically maintain high hiring standards and conduct thorough background investigations. Your textbook highlights 3 essential traits often referred to as the 3 I's of police selection: intelligence, integrity, and interaction skills. These qualities reflect an officer's ability to think critically, act ethically, and engage effectively with the public. In addition, other key traits like common sense and compassion are also valued. Professor Reese encourages you to begin developing the broader skill set necessary for employment success, many of which will be explored in more depth in a separate course offered in the spring. In many cities and counties, the hiring of police officers follows a merit-based system. This system typically involves cooperation between a civil service commission, the city's human resources department, and the police agency itself. Together, they determine job qualifications, set performance standards, and oversee procedures for hiring and discipline. The selection process generally includes several key steps: the completion of an application, a physical fitness or agility test, a medical examination, an oral interview, a psychological evaluation, and an in-depth background investigation. Once an applicant is hired, they must complete basic police academy training. In Kentucky, there are 2 main academies, one for state police and another for city and county officers. The Kentucky Department of Criminal Justice Training (DOCJT), located in Richmond, runs the training program for city and county law enforcement agencies. Their basic training academy is a rigorous program that exceeds 800 hours of instruction. Recruits receive training in a wide range of topics, including patrol procedures, a physical fitness and conditioning, defensive tactics, emergency vehicle operations, a firearms training, a criminal and traffic law, DUI enforcement, criminal investigations, tactical responses to crisis situations. After graduating from the academy, new officers typically enter a field training program where they work alongside experienced officers to apply what they've learned in real-world situations. Many departments also have a probationary period, usually 6 months to 1 year, during which new officers must prove themselves capable of performing the duties required by the agency. In summary, becoming a police officer is a serious and demanding process, requiring not only physical and mental preparation, but also a strong ethical foundation and a commitment to public service. Understanding the selection process and the expectations of the job is the first step toward a successful and meaningful career in law enforcement.